Okay, we're up to page 1, the miscellaneous observations. For the use of the mistress of a family, by which much money will be saved and the general appearance greatly improved. The mistress of a family should always remember that the welfare and good management of the house depend on the eye of the superior, and consequently that nothing is too trifling for her to notice, whereby waste may be avoided. And this attention is of more importance now that the price of every necessary of life is increased to an enormous degree. If a lady has never been accustomed, while single, to think of family management, let her not, upon that account, fear that she cannot attain it. She may consult others who are more experienced, and acquaint herself with the necessary quantities of the several articles of family expenditure in proportion to the number it consists of. A minute account of the annual income and the times of payment should be taken in writing. Likewise, an estimate of the supposed amount of each article of expense. And those who are early accustomed to calculations on domestic articles will acquire so accurate a knowledge of what their establishment requires as will give them the happy medium between prodigality and parsimony, without acquiring the character of meanness. Ready money should be paid for all such things as come not into weekly bills, and the best places for purchasing be attended to. In some articles a discount of 5% is allowed in London and other large cities, and those who thus pay are usually best served. Under the idea of buying cheap, many people go to new shops, but it is safest to deal with people of established credit who do not dispose of bad goods by underselling. To make people wait for their money injures them greatly, besides that a higher price must be charged. Perhaps the irregularity of payment may have much evil influence on the price of various articles, and contribute to the destruction of many families in gradation downwards. It is very necessary for a woman to be informed of the prices and goodness of all articles in common use, and of the best times as well as places for purchasing them. She should also be acquainted with the comparative prices of provisions, in order that she may be able to substitute those that are most reasonable, when they will answer as well, for others of the same kind, which are more costly. A false notion of economy leads many to purchase as bargains what is not wanted, and sometimes never is used. Were this error avoided, more money would remain for other purposes. Some things are better for keeping, and, being in constant consumption, should be laid in accordingly, such as paper, soap, and candles. Of these more hereafter. A proper quantity of household articles should be always ready, and more bought in before the others be consumed, to prevent inconvenience, especially in the country. A bill of parcels and receipts should be required, even if the money be paid at the time of purchase, and to avoid mistakes, let the goods be compared with these when brought home. Though it is very disagreeable to suspect anyone's honesty, and perhaps mistakes have been unintentional, yet it is prudent to weigh meat, sugars, and etc., when brought in, and compare with the charge. The butcher should be ordered to send the weight with the meat, and the cook to file these checks, to be examined when the weekly bill shall be delivered. A ticket should be given by the cook for each loaf, which will on return give the number to be paid for. Thus, regularly conducted, the exact state of money affairs will be known with ease, for it is delay of payment that occasions confusion. Accounts should be regularly kept, and not the smallest articles omitted to be entered. And if balanced every week and month, the income and outgoings will be ascertained with facility, and their proportions to other be duly observed. Some people approve of keeping in separate purses the money for different purposes, as domestic articles, clothes, pocket, education of children, and so on. Whichever way accounts be kept, some certain method should be adopted and strictly adhered to. Many families have owed their prosperity full as much to the conduct and propriety of female management as to the knowledge and activity of the father. Those who are served with brewer's beer or any other thing not paid for on delivery should have a book for entering the date, which will not only prevent overcharges, but at one view give the annual consumption. It is much to be feared that for the waste of many of the good things that God has given for our use, not abuse, the mistress and servants of great houses will hereafter be called to a strict account. Some part of every person's fortune should be devoted to charity, by which a pious woman will build up her house before God, while she that is foolish, i.e., lends nothing to the Lord, pulls it down with her hands. No one can complain of the want of gifts to the poor in this land, but there is a mode of relief which would add greatly to their comfort, and which, being prepared from superfluity, and such materials as are often thrown away, the expense would not be felt. In the latter part of this work, some hints for preparing the above are given. By good hours, especially early breakfast, a family is more regular and much time is saved. If orders be given soon in the morning, there will be more time to execute them, and servants, by doing their work with ease, will be more equal to it, and fewer will be necessary. It is worthy of notice that the general expense will be reduced if everything be kept in its proper place, applied to its proper use, and mended when the nature of an accident will allow, as soon as broken. An inventory of furniture, linen, and china should be kept, and the things examined by it twice a year, or oftener, if there be a change of servants, into each of whose care the articles used by him or her should be entrusted, with a list, as is done with plate. Tickets of parchment, with the family name, numbered and specifying what bed it belongs to, should be sewed on each feather bed, bolster, pillows, and blankets. Many well-meaning servants are ignorant of the best means of managing, and thereby waste as much as would maintain a small family, besides causing the mistress of the house much chagrin by their irregularity, and many families, from a want of method, have the appearance of chance rather than of regular system, to avoid which the following hints may be useful. All things likely to be wanted should be in readiness. Sugars of different qualities should be kept broken, currants washed, picked and dry in a jar, spice pounded, etc. Where regular noonings or suppers are used, and in every house some preparation is necessary for accidental visitors, care should be taken to have such things in readiness as may be proper for either. A list of several will be subjoined, a change of which will be agreeable, and if properly managed will be attended with no great expense. Every article should be kept in that place best suited to it, and much waste may thereby be avoided. V. Vegetables will keep best on a stone floor if the air be excluded. Meat in a cold, dry place. Sugar and sweetmeats require a dry place. So does salt. Candles cold, but not damp. Dried meats, hams, etc. the same. All sorts of seeds for puddings, soup, rice, etc. should be close covered to preserve from insects. Flour should be kept in a cool, perfectly dry room, and the bag being tied should be changed upside down and back every week, and well shaken. Soap should be cut with a wire or twine in pieces that form a long square, when first brought in, and kept out of the air 2 or 3 weeks. For if it dry quick, it will crack, and when wet, break. Put it on a shelf, leaving a space between, and let it grow hard gradually. Thus it will save a full third in the consumption. Cheese should be washed and wiped if you wish to preserve it sound, and the shelves be washed, changing the place every 3 or 4 weeks. But if it be wanted to ripen, a damp cellar will bring it forward. Bread is now so heavy an article of expense that all waste should be guarded against, and having it cut in the room will tend much to prevent it. Since the scarcity in 1795 and 1800, that custom has been much adopted. It should not be cut until a day old. Earthen pans and covers keep it best. Rolls, muffins, or any sort of bread may be made to taste new when 2 or 3 days old, by dipping it uncut in water and baking afresh or toasting. Eggs may be bought cheapest when the hens first begin to lay in the spring. Before they sit, in Lent and at Easter they become dear. They may be preserved fresh by dipping them in boiling water and instantly taking them out, or by oiling the shell, either of which ways is to prevent the air passing through it. They should be kept on shelves with small holes to receive one in each, and be turned every other day. Carrots, parsnips, and beetroots should be kept in sand for winter use, and neither they nor potatoes be cleared from the earth. Store onions preserved best hung up in a dry, cold room. Straw to lay apples on should be quite dry to prevent a musty taste. Large pears should be tied up by the stalk. Tarragon gives the flavor of French cookery, and in high gravies is a great improvement, but should be added only a short time before serving. Basil, savory, and knotted marjoram or London thyme to be used when herbs are ordered, but with discretion, as they are very pungent. Celery seeds give the flavor of the plant or soups. I'll continue in the next video, Lord willing.